A reading from the second letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, since many boast according to the flesh, I too will boast. To my shame, I say that we were too weak. But what anyone dares to boast of, I am speaking in foolishness. I also dare. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they children of Israel? So am I. Are they descendants of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? I am talking like an insane person. I am still more, with far greater labors, far more imprisonments, far worse beatings, and numerous brushes with death. 5 times at the hands of the Jews, I received 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I passed a night and a day on the deep, on frequent journeys, in dangers from rivers, dangers from robbers, dangers from my own race, dangers from Gentiles, dangers in the city, dangers in the wilderness, dangers at sea, dangers among false brothers, in toil and hardship, through many sleepless nights, through hunger and thirst, through frequent fastings, through cold and exposure. And apart from these things, there is the daily pressure upon me of my anxiety for all the churches. Who is weak, and I am not weak? Who is led to sin, and I am not indignant? If I must boast, I will boast of the things that show my weakness. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "From all their distress, God rescues the just." I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall be ever in my mouth. Let my soul glory in the Lord. The lowly will hear me and be glad. From all their distress, God rescues the just. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us together extol his name. I sought the Lord, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. From all their distress, God rescues the just. Look to him that you may be radiant with joy, and your faces may not blush with shame. When the poor one called out, the Lord heard, and from all his distress he saved him. From all their distress, God rescues the just.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and decay destroy, and thieves break in and steal. But store up treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor decay destroys, nor thieves break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there also will your heart be. The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be in darkness. And if the light in you is darkness, how great will the darkness be?" The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading is from 2 Corinthians 11, 18, and 21 to 30. This is part of the angry letter which is contained at the latter part of 2 Corinthians. Paul has been accused of speaking in the flesh, and some other so-called prophets, missionaries, claim that they're speaking in the Spirit. Well, Paul attacks and he says, I can boast of anything that they can boast of. I can boast of my heritage, but I can also boast of the suffering which I've endured for the sake of the gospel. I paid the price, therefore I am trustworthy. In fact, by the end of the passage, which is a rather angry passage, even though he tries to claim that he's trying not to embarrass them. He says, if I must boast of anything, I'll boast of the things that show my weakness. And his message is that in his weakness, in his physical brokenness, in his spiritual brokenness, the glory of God shines through. The Gospel is from Matthew 6, 19 to 23. These are simply wisdom sayings. Don't store up treasures on earth where they can decay. Rather store up heavenly treasures. So if we receive material blessings from the Lord, we should use them in a spiritual way, sharing them with those who don't have. Our most important priority in life, however, is to do spiritual things, not simply to have accomplishments that the world lauds, but rather to do things which bring people closer to the love that Jesus preached. The lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is sound, your whole body will be filled with light. So let's use our eyes to see that which is good. Let's look for the good in others. If we look for the good in others, we'll find it. If we look for what's bad, we'll find it. And so let's make sure that the way we judge others is through the vision of Christ. And may God bless us.